Tim has a very exciting announcement about his next big endeavor. Mr. Tim Borland.
Well, I bring my wife up on stage obviously because, everything we've done for the last several years is not a one-man show. I oftentimes, I'm the guy in the movie poster, I'm the guy prominently in the movie, I'm considered the crazy guy, but there's a better half, thankfully, to me, and you guys just continue to thank Michelle. I mean, this wouldn't have happened if we hadn't come together, right? If Michelle hadn't have been so selfless. But she has paid me back. Now I'm a rancher and I'm learning to drive tractors and break horses.
It's amazing.
So the roles have reversed. So anyhow, I just want to make sure I haven't done it enough, and I just want to make sure you guys know that we're together in everything that we do and will continue to be, because our hearts are aligned and our passion is to be a part of this and to continue on together. So.
Do I get to leave?
Yes, you can leave now. You're dismissed.
Thank you, Michelle.
So I just have to go back real quick. Brad and Deb talked about, entering our home, and Michelle and I were actually paranoid when we heard Brad and Deb were flying up to come, do this kind of intro, this sizzle reel with us. We were less worried about the reel itself. We were more worried about, should we make the enchiladas vegetable or chicken? So we were just going back and forth, so I finally had to call Deb, and I had to ask her, because I was like, we can't, what if they come over and we make chicken and they're vegetarian, but what if we make vegetarian and they want chicken? So we got off to a great start, though. And it's been awesome ever since. And so obviously the team is, Michelle and I, but it extends to Brad and Deb, and then, my buddy Mike, who I just wish, Mike's heart and passion was with us all along. Mike, again, some of you know him, got to meet him on the tour. Some of you have heard about him. Some of you don't even know him yet, and you'll meet him in the film when you get to watch it. But Mike made it happen. He really did. Again, it's one of those things, you can't set out to do something as crazy and audacious as running that many marathons in that many consecutive days with a wife and 2 kids, 3 and 1. And travel the country. So Mike was so generous to be along, and he's here in heart and spirit, but he's in Tuolumne Meadows hanging out. So anyhow, you all just, again, Mike's one of those guys, so we just want to keep him a part of the team. Things continue on. I continue, to enjoy. It's been awesome having Feet Out. We continue to push it and promote it, but we always kind of go back to, hey, what other things could we be doing? Do we have to do something like that again, or can we build off of that and do something different? So we're always trying to get creative, right, about the fundraising things that we can do. So I've consistently, ever since Chicago 2006, or 2007, I guess, on the tour, I've been running with one of the board members of the AT Children's Project, Greg Jellick. Greg lives out in Chicago. He's got a 30-year-old son, Jeff, with AT. And Greg's been real good about fundraising every year. He's inspired by Jeff to get out there and do it every year. And I've just enjoyed running with Greg every year. Well, this last year was an interesting year for Greg, and his training did a lot of different things in his training this year, unexpectedly. But as usual, I flew out and met with Greg, and we had a number of other families with the Children's Project out there. So we're excited to have kind of a team and do a dinner the night before, and it's always a great event out in Chicago as well. But Greg and I got talking, and he was really getting a bug, to try to run his best, to run as fast as he wanted a PR. He thought, maybe this is the year. I've kind of been training Greg on and off and helping him get healthy and fast. So I told Greg, I said, look, telling what you've told me about your training, I think this is the year. So long story short, I went out with Greg, and I got to lead him and pace him into a Boston qualifying time. So Greg, yeah. Greg just did a phenomenal job, and it's just a dream come true for this guy. I mean, for a lot of us in the room that run, Boston's kind of one of those. It's up there, right? It's one of those things we'd love to accomplish. So I came off of that, real high, and I thought, man, this is awesome. We'll get to send Greg and maybe a team of people to Boston. I don't think we've ever done Boston before. So I thought, wow, what an awesome, race to enter. Although, for those of you that don't know, Boston has, the reason why it's kind of unattainable for most people is they have a pretty tight time restriction. You have to run a very respectable time to get in. For some people it takes years, and it's just one of those you really have to work at. So this is obviously a big deal for Greg, and now we're thinking, hey, maybe we can domino this somehow and really create a bigger event. So then fast forward in June, it was June, I got invited by Hunter Kemper, another just amazing ambassador with the AT Children's Project. I got invited to go out to Des Moines, Iowa and race the Hy-V triathlon. I raced triathlons in high school, or in college, but I haven't done any since. And so I went out with Hunter, and he invited me to come out. He said, but if you come out, you're not just running the triathlon. You can't do that anymore. You have to actually, bring somebody along. I'm not going to let you get away that easily. So it was an amazing experience. I got to get back into triathloning, and I got to take along Paige Champion, who's 19, lives in Des Moines, Iowa. And I got to bring her. We got a kayak. We got a pole harness system. I got a real cool kind of stroller donated from Cycle Tote, and we did a kind of a drag pull push with Paige through the triathlon. And it was a great experience because it kind of bridged the gap between being out there and running, for some of these different our different friends with AT to now actually taking them along for the ride. It was just such an awesome experience for Paige, and I really just was enlightened into kind of this new idea and how we might be able to actually really get to involve everybody, right, and be a part of it together. So then my wheels really started turning, and I thought, man, we got a national NBC, we got some great coverage. How do we just continue to steamroll this and get greater momentum, or I guess snowball this would be the better idea, and how do we build off of this amazing endeavor that the team put together before? And so I had this idea, and I called up Greg and I talked to him about it, and of course he just was beside himself. So then I called the Boston Marathon Association and I talked to them, and I got permission under conditional permission. So then I called my friends over at the Rock and Roll Marathon race, and I got permission for them. And as I put all these pieces together, the reality is on June 16th, Jeff and I are going to the Rock and Roll Arizona, and I'm going to hold me to it, run a 3:15 marathon pushing Jeff, and we're going to qualify for Boston together as a duo, and then we're going to go run with Greg, his father, for Boston Marathon 2011, and we're going to raise $40,000. So we're pretty excited. It involves 2 different marathons. I haven't been back to Boston for a long time. I actually kind of wanted to go back, but it needed to be something. It needed to be passion and purpose together. And so I'm really looking forward to going back to Boston, but this time with great intentionality. So with that, I've kind of been teasing some people on Facebook. Some of you have been following. We're living out on this ranch. Life's kind of been funny out there, fairly comical. But I put together a little training program to start getting ready to build up some base miles. And some of you have kind of seen on some pictures on Facebook, so now I'm going to connect the dots. So this is my setup. So about a month and a half ago, I called the company and found a tow rope, a harness, a waist harness. And the deal is, I got a tow line off of that. I got it going through a chain that's wrapped around a 185/70R car tire, standard, found in the back 40 of the ranch. So all we have are dirt roads on the ranch, which actually is working to my favor, because I think if I were out on a dirt road kicking up all kinds of dust, if I were out on a public trail, I'd probably get kicked off pretty quickly. So this is kind of what it looks like as I'm running. There's quite a bit of dust cloud, and I'll tell you, this summer has been interesting with the heat and then choking down literally on this dirt. Has been it's been tasteful, actually. So I started at just doing three 1-mile repeats, and then I went up to 4 1-mile repeats. This is a 25-pound tire. It's no joke, right? And I'm trying to build up to where I can run several miles. And then I stepped it up, and I did 2 2-mile repeats. Then I went to 3 2-mile repeats. Then I went to 2 3-mile repeats. So I'm trying to get it all together. And then eventually I went 6 miles straight. So I'm up to doing 6 miles straight pulling the tire. But that's not going to be enough, so I've enlisted my kids to help me in my training program. So first we've got Maddie, who some of you might know from the movie. She came to us on, she's our tour baby. That was quite a surprise. She's almost 2.5 now, so she's a little bit of added weight for me. And when I get through that, then I'm going to move on to Colton. He's a little bit bigger. He's 4 now, so he's carrying some weight. Now this is great, right? They're 2, 6, and 4, so it's like the perfect stair step. And now I'm going to get Kylie. She's back there, and of course, they have a great time. The next thing is Michelle's got the crop. She's going to give that to them so they can start giving me. Then when that's not enough, I got all 3 of them. So they definitely keep me busy and put me to the test. So that's all good fun. So that's kind of what the training looks like. On a serious note, again, I'm sure some of you are kind of wondering, this isn't actually the piece of technology. It's actually a really cool thing that was designed back in 2006. I think MIT students put this together, but it's going to be kind of similar. What we're looking at to take Jeff with is I can do all the training in the world, but if I don't have a super light, super fast ride, I'm really there's going to be a lot of resistance. So the real quick kind of the ergonomic thing that's going on is your bike wheel, your 700cc road wheel is the fastest, least resistant wheel you can get. So you kind of do 3 of those in a tri-shape, and then just have some sort of comfortable seat. That doesn't look very comfortable. It's not going to be that. Poor Jeff's not going to want to sit in that. But that just kind of gives you an idea. If you were kind of thinking of a visual, it's definitely going to be more like a racing cart. And again, Cycle Tote, who came through for us at the Hy-Vee Triathlon, they've taken us on as they're just so ambitious and so passionate about what we're doing. They're creating a prototype for me. I'm helping actually design a racing stroller. Some of you might know of Team Hoyt. Dick Hoyt has been doing this for a while. So people are doing these sorts of things, which is awesome, but we're going to we're going to enter into that space as well, and it's really hard to find these strollers. So we got a great company that's sponsoring us, and like I said, I'm working with Snake, the designer. He and I are working on a prototype, but it's going to be awesome. So that's January 16th. So I'll be a little bit more open about the training and the stuff that we're doing as I work on my training. And I am getting coached, just so you know. Even Lance Armstrong has a trainer. So I got my buddy Doug, who's going to help me with all this. So anyhow, that's a wrap. I know we need to move on, but that's kind of an update on us and what we have in the future. So thanks for being here tonight. Thank you for your support.